Sahana vavatu Sahanau bhunaktu Sahaviryam karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May the Lord protect us. May He nourish us. May we acquire the capacity to study and understand the scriptures. May our study be brilliant. And may we not cavil at each other. Om peace, peace, peace unto us all. Om Shri Sai Ram. So last week we had Christmas program, and before that we all discussed the letters that were sent out by the set of 9 letters sent out by the scriptural committee of the Sathya Sai International Organization. And we did the first letter and we discussed that. The whole that study guide is called The Inherent Divinity, which is the way to realize our identity. The first letter we discussed last week, previous week. It was about the ecstasy of God's name, the Lord's name. Several points were discussed. All are wonderful and everybody participated. The first thing Swami, the letter mentions that first everybody wants peace, peace, peace. What are the steps to attain? But nobody is actually taking the steps moving towards peace. But we talk about peace, our platform heroes. So that's what Swami started. And then how do we get that? The most important is there are several ways. The easiest way in Kali Yuga is chanting the Lord's name. But then also, how do you chant the name? Thought, word, and deed. We all have to have that unity of thought, word, and deed. And then going on doing that as a sadhana, then practice it, then automatically he gives the wisdom, the enlightenment. So it is like going in the forest. You don't need the whole forest to be lighted. All you need is a candle. Take that candle and move on. It will tell you the first 10 steps, and then you go there and 10 steps you're going to say. So the name of the Lord is like that. We have a candle with the light, then we just need to go, and then it tells the path. So, and then ultimately you will reach the goal. So the enlightenment is easy in Kali Yuga by chanting the name of the Lord. We discussed and a lot of great points came in. So now we will discuss the topic is become like the flute. So we will, of course, Nirupama will read, and then there are 2 questions, and we can dwell on those questions, and then we can share. Thank you. Sairam.
Sairam. Become like the flute. From December 6th, 1975. From sleep you wake, to sleep you go again. In between 2 periods of sleep, you are engaged in activity which is just aimed at filling bellies. All life is not lived by satisfying physical hunger only. It is an opportunity to remember, cherish, and seek the presence of God. The world stage is full of characters. The Lord, the director, has cast each one in a separate role. One ought to learn to perform one's role perfectly. This can happen only if the director is obeyed to the letter, to each and every action of his. Anything done against his direction by the character in the drama of life renders the individual useless and desolate. Ego and attachment are the two things that bar one from obeying the director's commands. It is only when Arjuna surrendered himself and confessed his ignorance, his exhaustion and despair, and sought Krishna's guidance that the Lord began to confide in him the supreme truth. As long as the feeling of I and mine reign over the individual, the Lord shall not step into the arena of one's life, the precincts of one's heart. So, learn to live for the satisfaction of one's real self by becoming selfless. Self-confidence, self-sacrifice, self-satisfaction, and self-realization are the guideposts to the fruition of life. Self-confidence is the foundation, self-sacrifice is the top, self-satisfaction is the pillar, and self-realization is the mansion. It is not enough if one earns a university degree. One should strive to earn the universal degree. In order to become the near and dear one of the Lord, one should become either like the flute or like the pair of chappals. The chappals bear all the weight of the person who wears them, as well as the pain of the thorns, shrubs, and pebbles on the ground underneath. Learn to cultivate fortitude, patience, and love, and seek to give and live. It is much better and easier to become the flute. The flute is hollow, devoid of likes and dislikes, desire, anger, envy, malice, and greed of me and mine. Have the goal clear before you and strive to reach it. Your advancement is measured by the yardstick of self-control. The ear must hear, the eye must see, the tongue must taste, the hands must work, and the legs must walk according to the dictates of the Atma. With blessings, Abba.
You can go to the questions.
Okay. So, two questions are here. The first one, Swami says that all life is an opportunity to cherish and seek the presence of the divine director of this drama of life. What have you done to reduce your ego and attachment tendencies that keep you from surrendering to the director's commands? You want to discuss that first?
Hmm. Anybody wants to share how did they reduce ego and attachment? The problem is when somebody says, I don't have ego, that itself is a problem. When you say, I don't have ego, then the answer itself tells we cannot say that. So in Arcadia Center, nobody says that they don't have egos. That's nice. But any incident you want to share? Nobody wants to speak. The thing is, suddenly I think the thing is about telling the stories of the saints and great avatars. When we talk about them, then we kind of take examples from them, how to reduce ego and attachment. Thing is, suddenly what thought came to me is there is a saint, there are 63 9 hours they call. Nayanars are saints of Shiva. They pray to Shiva, worship Shiva, and they're wonderful. The big Puranam, it's called Periya Puranam in Tamil. It's written, it's all about the stories of the saints. And each story, it's unique. And the Lord, I don't know, he tests too much. But there should be a limit in testing as well. But it's an extreme level of testing. And that too, this kind of ego and attachment, it's not easy to, it's definitely not easy. But it's Christmas period. I want to first talk about the Sirudonda Nayanar, who is a great example. Because it suddenly came. That's kind of like there's no ego at all. He was he's a very devoted saint, but he's a army man also. So he was the leader, and the king sent him for the wars, and he is very good in handling the arms and everything. So like, then the king came to know, it's a Chola king, and he came to know that this man is a great devotee of Shiva. Then the Chola king himself is a great devotee. He did not want him to fight. So he said, this is not good, so I don't know what I did. So he gave lot of money and wealth to him and go back and settle in his town back and pray to worship the Lord in that temple, in that place, in his hometown. It's called Trichangadu. He went there, and then of course he's a saint. What else he do? He knows only how to pray. Or he has to fight, but he doesn't need to fight now because so all his full time is devoted to the Lord. So he prayed to the Lord, and his vratam, his sadhana is to give food to the saints. I mean, the Shiva devotees. So at least he needs to feed a person, a Shiva devotee. He feeds other people, but a Shiva devotee who has that three the vibhuti in his head. Then that person he has to serve. Then only he will eat. So that was going on for years. So and everyone knows how he treats his hospitality is amazing. So everybody was so thrilled, and he goes to the temple and comes and does this. And his wife is also a very devoted person. So whatever the husband says, she will do it. And they were doing, they were, that's the life it was going on. One time, then Shiva said, okay, now I got to test this guy, test this devotee. And once he starts testing, you know how it is. And Shiva's tests are not small at all. It's Vishnu is okay. Shiva's tests are a little bit extreme. So he comes and, as a Shivanadiya, that means a saint, Shiva. So on that particular day, he's this Trivadra, basically that auspicious day. Right? Just now, the Trivadra is gone. So on that auspicious day, Shiva is coming as a saint. The thing is, on that day, he's not finding anybody, the Sirudonda Nayanar. So he's not finding anyone. He was waiting. Nobody came. Because why? So he came back. But before that, what happened is when he went to look for the saint, Shiva comes to the home, and then in the Bhiksha, he's asking food. Then he's begging for food, and then the servant lady comes and says, "Sir, please come in." No, is the man on the house is there? Shiva is asking. Lord Shiva is asking. Then he says, "No, he has gone out to look for the saint. Now you have come. This is awesome. So you come inside." No, I won't come if the man of the house is not inside the home. So very traditional. Then the lady of the house, that is the Tirudana Nayanar's wife, comes running. Um, She said, please don't go, be here. Okay, okay, I won't come inside. I will sit in that tree and then wait. Then Siridhonda Nayanar comes back and he finds out the lady of the house is saying, no, no, no. Now the Shivanadiyar is waiting. The saint is waiting. He was so happy, blissful. He runs to him, prostrates to him. Sir, please come to my home and have the food. So Siridhonda Nayanar has only one son. He's 5 years old. And very healthy boy. Everything is good. So the saint now starts. No, 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 I won't come, but I don't know whether you can feed me. What I'm asking. This needs to be fed. I said, whatever you say, sir, I will do. Please come and have, because he has now given the word. Okay, promise? Yes, promised. So every 6 months, it is my habit to eat a pashu. That means it's a meat. Then he said, okay, that also we will serve. Then he says, no, 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 no. This healthy child. Then he says, okay, please come, sir. We want to take care of, You give the promise, then I will come. Otherwise, I don't want to come. He said, okay, come. So he goes to the home. Then he's not thinking about his own boy. Of course, he goes, who will give their child? There's no way. So he comes back empty handed. What to do? Time is running. He said, time is running. Then he said, okay. He tells the wife, we have a child, so that's the only thing we can do. And he also tells the mom needs to hold and the dad has to cut. And say, okay, that's fine. And then they do it. And it has been made, the flesh. And then the head will not be tasty. So give the head to the servant maid to, because whose mom would take the head, Then give it to the servant maid to go and, at least bury it. But then when they come to service, no, no, no. The tongue is very good. Better get the tongue also. So bad. And then he tells, now I won't eat. With me, another saint has to eat with me. So there is no other saint to come. So you come and eat. He's asking his father to come and sit. Then asking, so now I cannot eat. I need the son also to come. Then the lady of the house, no, 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 the son is not useful now. And then for the Surudunda Nayanar also says, the son is not useful now. Why is not useful? Just call him, he will come. But Shiva is telling, it is the... Then he says, now go to the front of the home, call, he will come. They are the one who cut and put the flesh. How will he come? So he goes out. Now he says, finally, this is the test of the thing. So he finally surrenders and tells his name, the name of the child, Shirla, please come. And the boy comes running. They were shocked. How can the boy can't come? And the boy comes running, telling mom, I'm here. You called me. Then they look behind. There is nobody sitting there. There is nothing there is no plate or anything. And then the Lord Shiva with Parvati and Subramanya, he gives the darshan. I wanted to come and test you. You continue and then you will come back to me. So the theory of the story, how it goes is that until that time that he went and called his son, till that time, he was thinking, he is doing it, he is doing it, he is doing it. It is the extreme sacrifice. No mother will do, no parents will do that. But Even then, that sacrifice was done. I am doing it. When he went and surrendered to the Lord completely, then it all, it's when the Lord gave the darshan. What it means is that even there also, Swami mentions about Arjuna too. Uh, Narendra uncle talked about that very elaborately about the Karpanya Tosho Bhagavata Swabhava. Finally, he surrendered to the Lord. Lord, I am now your disciple. Please instruct me. Till that time, the Lord did not open his mouth. But that is not a big test. This test is the extreme test that the long story, but the amazing thing is that the Nayanar stories are like this only. Every story you read, you'll find like, oh my God, is anybody can stand that kind of test? That's why, you have less devotees because people cannot take that test. The devotees means you have to take the test. Otherwise, it's very hard to take the test. But give those most sweet. The Madhusudana, Madhu means what? Sweet. That honey is sweet. Most sweet for everybody is the ego. Leaving that is so difficult. People have different levels of egos, but this is the story is suddenly it came to my mind. But of course, we also have this example of Jesus Christ, how he sacrificed his body for the sins of the world. Any other stories, or otherwise we can read the second question.
Sairam, I was just going to say, I think the easiest way sometimes to kind of reduce ego and attachment is to practice gratitude. I think that's a kind of a big way of, and I think a lot of people do that very regularly, but when you practice gratitude, you're acknowledging that there is a force greater than just our physical presence that causes, that's very causal in terms of the events of our lives and everything that happens. You know, Swami says that a leaf does not fall unless it is God's will. So whenever you show gratitude, even for something that, might be perceived by the worldly eye as negative, it most of the time isn't. I call them pivots, like it kind of pivots you in a different direction. And maybe that direction is better than what you intended initially. So it's just kind of practicing gratitude would be the
Well,
easiest
that's a
way.
very nice way to look at. Yeah, that's uh, that's a good point, Nirupama.
I
The
think,
main,
and seva, Swami says to help reduce our ego. That's why he wants us to do more and more seva.
when you do seva and somebody will come and poke you, and then your ego gets a little bit more, and then you reduce it. Swami makes it happen that way. So we have to grow. That's the whole idea.
Yeah, these are all excellent points, especially with the gratitude and also he said, when we're seeing the divine in everything, when we practice that attitude, then slowly we can see ourselves and others, see swamis and us, and it's difficult, but it's practice.
That's a very nice thing. Can you give, because for the people in the Zoom, they cannot hear you. Put it on.
So part of the karmendriyas and the gnanendriyas, the ego is a part of it. So nothing wrong with the ego, but just as all of you said, surrender and all. And same thing with the attachment too. Radha had attachment towards the Krishna. And, I'm sure Ishwarama had attachment towards Swami too. So we should not take it negatively. That's what I'm saying, ego and attachment.
Oh, with Swami, you can always have it. That's not attachment. That's the, well, in a way, it's a worldly way to see it, but that desire is to make us desireless. Having a desire for Swami, it is good because he'll make us desireless. He has his own way to do it, but like what Lord Shiva did. But ultimately, that ego and attachment has to go at the final measure. That's the exact thing happened for him. And I said, I said, not just ego, the attachment. First attachment, he easily removed it because giving his own son, he did it. But the ego that I am giving it, that took some time. Very good points. Gratitude, that's all easy to practice, to little things, and also service. Second question we can read.
The second question says, in your spiritual journey, when have you felt like a pair of sandals bearing the weight and thorns of life? And when have you felt like a flute, free of me, mine, and likes, dislikes? How can you become more like the flute?
When you felt like a pair of sandals. The questions look little, that's what she said, seva, when you are doing seva, it always happens that the intention for everybody is to please the Lord. So what happens is sometimes when you are doing, we don't need to know the specifics of it. So when we want to do one thing, it's like the intention is to please the Lord of one person. The other person also is viewing in a different way to please the Lord. And what happens is there will be on a physical, material level, there could be some difference of opinions, how to do it, and things. But at the same time, we should understand a little bit more towards it. Whatever happens is the will of the Lord. And we also should know where to give up and work with people. And so that's the whole thing about this sandals. Patience, Swami is talking about patience, forbearance, all those important qualities. Um, you know, um, Again, there's a number of examples. But once I go with Lord Shiva stories, you can go on and on and on, and long stories. And the the most important thing is to understand. Um, you know, for example, there is a one story, beautiful story. Let's go now about the Krishna, because Lord Shiva stories are too difficult to digest. The Sri Krishna stories are easy to handle it. Even though here also, so what happens is the Lord, there's a, uh, so Arjuna asked a question to Krishna, then I want to know how there are devotees. And Sri Krishna wanted him to know what the devotees. And then there's one Brahmin who was sitting there, so he'll be going, Arjuna will be going that side. So the Brahmin will be having some kind of a stick or something to hit her. He is not happy. So he went to Arjuna. Arjuna goes and asks him, Sir, I want to help you. What is it bothering you? Why are you keeping your, arms to, looks like you want to go fight. It's not good for a Brahmin. Brahmin doesn't fight. Brahmin always prays. So what are you doing? And how can I help you? So Arjuna is asking the Brahmin. The Brahmin is returning back saying, I am waiting for this Arjuna when I am going to hit him. He was shocked. He was asking, what is this, sir? Why you want to kill Arjuna? Arjuna is a great devotee. He's a great devotee of the Lord. Nobody can question that. His devotion to the Lord. And how many times, so many examples of him, when the Lord, being with the Lord, we know. And here, this Brahmin is saying, when I get a chance, I want to hit that guy, Arjuna. And ask, why? Then this is the thing. Then Brahmin says, see, this guy is the charioteer is Sri Krishna, and this guy is the archer. So he's standing there. He's putting his feet and telling, so how does he has to give the direction to Krishna? So how he has to give is, he'll put these sandals, he'll have to do like this and this, so that left or right, to tell Krishna to put his feet on Krishna and doing this. How dare he can do that? So how much my Lord has to go through this pain? So he hurt Lord Krishna like that, so I cannot take it. That is why I want. Because of his selfishness, he did this. So the thing is, the Sri Krishna is the one who told him to be like that, and I will do the. He's the one who directed everything. But here, how the whole thing changes. So it's the understanding you should have at that point of time. Of course, Arjuna cannot say Arjuna forgives and begs pardon from the Brahmin, but what it means is that we have to understand that the devotion has two paths. It's pleasing the Lord, but finally we need to have that forbearance and those qualities what Swami talked about: patience, forbearance, and with that we can become the flute. Otherwise, the flute will not be straight and it will not give good music.